Good morning and welcome to another fresh edition of your breakfast show on Leadership Television inside Nigeria. My name is Jennifer Debo. I will sincerely apologize for bringing the program behind schedule. We were experiencing technical glitches in the time. As we normally do on the first segment of the show, we have some select newspapers for review. While on the second segment of the program, we'll be discussing on some topical issues and some trending stories. My name is Winifred Gboro once again. Of course, like we normally do on the program, we like to flag up with leadership, Nigeria's most influential newspaper. Leadership's main headline story today is still on the planned protest. Of course, leadership has begun a countdown to the nationwide protests. 8 days to go, opposition swears against hardship protest. 8 days to go, opposition swears against hardship protest. Because 8 days from now is August 1st. Will not tolerate lawlessness, federal government wants. Rally potentially dangerous, say governors. Northern Southern leaders caution planners. 60 reps ask Tinubu to dialogue with youths. No going back, students declare. I'll take that countdown to the planned protest once again. That is the makeover of Leadership Television this Thursday, July 25, 2024. 8 days to go. Opposition swears against hardship protest. Federal government warns will not tolerate lawlessness. Rally potentially dangerous, say governors. Northern Southern leaders caution planners. 60 reps ask Tinubu to dialogue with youths, and students declare no going back. From that main headline story, we move to the stories beside it. 5 northern states account for 70% polio variant in Nigeria, according to UNICEF. FBI, Trump shooter search details of Kennedy assassination. Obviously, he wanted to duplicate that. FBI, Trump shooter search details of Kennedy assassination. Oil theft, NUPROC kickstarts $21 million mentoring audit. Economic crunch, federal government slashes foreign scholars allowances. Of course, we have a photo on the cover of Leadership. Rescuers assist residents on a boat as they wade through a flooded road following heavy rains brought by Typhoon Gaini in Makina City, Metro Manila, Philippines, yesterday. We move steadily to the masthead. Before that, stakeholders asked Tinubu to review Katsina Road project cancellation and on the business boss, agri mechanization. Federal government plans to produce 5,000 tractors annually. Above the masthead, at 61, Umahi remains development genes breaker, according to A. The Works Minister, David Umahi, is 61 years today. Of course, the papers are gog with congratulatory adverts to celebrate the genes breaker. Congratulations to the Works Minister. Governors meet on 70,000 naira minimum wage, local government autonomy, and that is the last story on the cover of Leadership. We go over to the page 3 today where we have our stand. Our stand normally is the editorial stand on the paper for the day, and today's stand is on one building collapse too many. From our stand, we move to the back page where we have been blunt with Muazu Elize is writing on Let Dangote Refinery break, just like what President Bola Tinubu said during the inception of his inauguration. He said, let it for break. Muazu Elize is saying today, let Dangote Refinery break. With that, we conclude the review of Leadership newspaper. For more, log on to the website www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move to the Guardian. Guardian has different story altogether at its main lead. Tough times for poor Nigerians as food inflation worsens malnutrition. Tough times for poor Nigerians as food inflation worsens malnutrition. 100 under 5 children die every hour. 2 million suffer acute malnutrition. Nigeria loses $1.5 billion of its GDP to malnutrition yearly. UNICEF urges federal government to introduce food subsidy, reduce taxes. Federal government stakeholders propose $60 million to tackle malnutrition. Of course, we have pictures of the stakeholders, President Bola Tinubu, the Senate President, the head minister, and all stakeholders beneath the main headline story. Also on The Guardian, NDLEA nabbs Lagos drug baron after years of evading arrest. Planned protest, SGF meets Tinubu's cabinet as APC holds emergency meeting. Dangote refinery may accelerate closure of Europe's existing 90 refineries. Complaints against corrupt public officials up by 29%. Meta deletes 63,000 Facebook accounts over sextortion scams. Meta is a name for Facebook. Meta deletes 63,000 Facebook accounts over sextortion scams. Federal government resumes mass trial of terrorism suspects. Nas kicks as federal government slashes allowances of scholars abroad. OPS force fresh MPRO hike forces shutdown of more businesses. That concludes the front headline stories of the Guardian newspaper today, Tuesday, Thursday, July 5, 2024. For more, log on to the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. Of course, we have other papers here on the menu, The Punch, Vanguard, and of course, they also have similar story on the planned protest from on August 1st, 2024. However, we have Daily Sun that is different. Daily Sun is on the resumption of the mass trial of terrorism suspects as federal government records 63 convictions. With this, we come to the end of the first half of this program. Don't go away. Just stay tuned for the second part of the program where we have our guest already in the studio. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the second part of the program Inside Nigeria. It's reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Gobo once again, and I have my first big guest in the house. He's a political economist, he's also a public affairs analyst, Olamilekan Adefolari. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me. Very good morning to all of you.
Very good morning to you. Yes, the papers we have on our menu, and of course, leadership newspaper, Nigeria's most influential, has already begun a countdown to the planned protest that students, youth, have said they are going to protest, take to the streets August 1st. What are we having here? It's like the government is not only G3, Tinubu said he was going to address their grievances. However, my take is that addressing grievances means you have to try and reduce inflation. Is that going to happen overnight?
That won't happen overnight. And actually, looking at with the call for the protest, very, very interesting. But for the government, they perceive that the people that are calling for the protest are people who are interested in the seat of power, who have been interested to occupy the villa.
Mm.
And for the people organizing the protest, they remain faceless, but the government on their own have discovered
Mm.
who they are. And for the people calling for the protest, they throw something like a gimmick into the air, hunger protest. For
Mm.
analysts like us, we look deep into the issue and discover there are two types of hunger here.
Mm.
There are political power hunger
Mm.
and the real hunger that Nigerians are hungry.
Mm.
So for the organizer, they know that they use the hunger issues to attract Nigerians to be interested in the protest. But the
Mm.
real thing they are looking for is political power hunger. They are hungry for political power. And
Mm.
that's why they are calling for it. So the government have understood because they all understand the reading. And if you look at the Kenya experience that most of them are citing,
Mm.
already the Kenyan government have invited the opposition party into the government as of
Mm.
yesterday. So it shows that beyond the hunger issues that the protesters organizers are calling, we all know that beneath it is political power hunger. They are
Mm.
also interested in the seat of power. But
Mm.
just that people may not really catch the glimpse of this kind of issue. So critically, we have to let them know that this is the issue because at the end of the day, if they achieve their aim,
Mm.
hunger continues. There is no government in the world that can stop hunger. But the issue is that the government of Tinubu.
However, what about economic policies that has predisposed this present situation in the
Exactly.
country?
That's where I would need to in the
Mm.
failure of the current government because
Mm.
of their insistent and their aggressive way of ensuring that things get better by following certain principles that doesn't go
Not
down well
going
with people.
anywhere.
And that's why the thing turned against them and doing out this hardship we're talking about the fuel subsidy removal, which is the major issue that caused the hunger, leading to high cost of transportation, whereby insecurity is also there. Then the government clamping down on over 11 different multiple forest exchange markets, leading into we now have about three markets. But
Mm.
the corruption within that sector is still ongoing. That's why I see that naira is still fluctuating to over 565 naira to a dollar. So it's
How
an
much?
issue. 1,500
1,500.
1,565 naira.
Mm.
That's what it is now to a dollar. So it's just that the government is handicapped. Their policy turnaround become something that they were unable to solve the problem they intend to solve. And the opposition have taken advantage of it. So that is what we are left. We just hope that if the protest will happen
Mm.
as it's been planned, it will be peaceful. But my own understanding, I see that there's serious opposition. It's not just opposition from certain quarters, opposition by residents and indigenous of certain quarters in this country. They don't want that protest to take place because they see it as destructive.
Yes, we saw Ohaneze appealing to Igbo
Mhm.
indigents not to partake of it.
Exactly. They have to come out to say that because the social media is being flocked with certain ethnic group pushing for that protest.
Mm.
And that's why it was identified as an IPOB agenda. That's why it was also identified as a OB agenda or Obi obedient movement agenda because in the social media, if you extray and extract the numbers of people calling for that protest and the tag they are putting about it that Tinubu must go, it is of range. No individual who even want protest to come through. But when you hear such also a days of range, it means there's something behind the protest. So why would I support days of range? Meaning days of destruction.
But we also have another presidential candidate in that last election, Omoyele Sowore, also joining. In fact, in Omoyele's words, he said it's not even a protest, he's calling for a revolution.
Anybody that
He's
take
not a member of the Labour Party.
if you take Omole very serious now, you just take you don't need to. He's not in Nigeria first. His group, the revolution now, have not been making any strong statement about this particular protest. It
Yes.
was is I understand what I
Sorry,
mean. He is the one writing all those statements on social media. His real group, most of them are the backbone of that group is NS and TUC. Is revolutionary. If you remember the protest that he led that made him to be incarcerated by the DSS, it was as a result of the support from NS and TUC foot soldiers. Revolution now cannot function without the foot soldiers of NS and TUC. And NS I told their foot soldiers they are not part of it. And seated here as a person is a member of the NLC.
Amidst this planned protest, what can the federal government do actually to ameliorate the situation? We cannot rule out the fact that our present economic reality today is harsh. There's so much hunger in the land. What can federal government? You've always been. What can federal government? Is it that can federal government reverse some of its policies because it's really taking its toll on the. Recently, 2 days ago, the CBN also raised again the interest rate.
I think for me,
And even the Dangote has already so cried out when they had a meeting that that is not sustainable.
the issue is this: most of us that critically look at the subsidy removal say let it go because the government was using it as an instrument of threat.
Yes, but this government now is paying much for. We saw reports since last week that the landing cost of fuel, that's according to marketers, is now 1,117 naira.
That's another gimmick of the market. That's another spurious, gloomy pictures by marketers.
So who pays the balance?
The issue is this. The issue is this. Government is collecting landing cost. Government is allowing them to import fuel. Government is also collecting tariff from it. Now, how come NNPC of his own outlet sustain 617 naira? When we were the private people that importing fuel, we are saying that 720 naira. Even though we understand that there could be a little bit of marginable payment by the government, the issue still boils down for the Ipman that are making us about.
Have you forgotten that the former governor of Kaduna State, Madam Nancy Erufai, also said that Nigerian government presently is paying much more for subsidy than previous government?
Definitely, they could be paying. You know, the reason why this issue about subsidy removal, whether the government is paying, government is not paying, there is no clear picture to show that the cost of PMS supposed to be at that price. The thing is that if you want to understand this, you understand that normally they are saying that the high cost of crude oil in the international market, it has remained stable. Then the country of shipment where some of these products are coming, how much are they giving them per liter that they are bringing in that government cost in terms of landing cost? They are talking about the tariff at port, NPA, and the rest of them. And over time, government said that will work the benchmark of that price. So why I don't want us to take hook, line, and sinker some of this gloomy picture painted by Ipman is that they normally justify that to increase their PMS prices.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
And if you understand the Nigerian state, understand the elite in Nigerian society, particularly in the oil and gas sector, they have understood our psyche to the point that the moment they want to get anything from us, they throw in propaganda and threat. Yes. If you remember this 720 naira, the first say it was 720 naira per landing cost. They now went as far as saying it's 1,500. But let me give you a shocker here. Do you know that the current exchange of naira to dollar is a marginal profit that CBN is gaining to make money so they can pay for radicalization and loan that they are collecting? I don't know whether you get it.
Yes,
they just sold treasury bills.
Yes.
And there was over subscription of treasury bills. CBN put out 250 billion treasury bills and they got over 450 billion. And when you say treasury bills, you have to pay back interest rate on each of the treasury bills. Where would they get the money from? It is the devaluation of the currency. They will devalue the currency. They gain more naira for few dollars they are selling. It is not in relation to the protection of PMA. It is too critical. It's the critical aspect of the economy aspect of Nigeria that many of us, it's just that sometimes when I'm analyzing some of this issue, I'm a little very careful not to be too technical so that we can break this down. What I'm going to say is this. Now, naira devaluation is subject to securitization of our foreign reserve because government doesn't have more dollar in it. They don't have. So the only way they can secure it is that the few dollar they have, they sell it very high, gain more naira. Then the few dollars that are coming.
But that is also making the inflation worse because at the end of the day, we are selling it with
it's international price transmission of goods and services. So that will happen. But this threat from Ipman that landing cost is just a gimmick, is a gloomy picture. That's why over time, when they make that, CBN NFP start telling them, we are still selling our PMS at 617. Why are they against Dangote from not picking Dangote PMS? So that landing cost will be removed. Those are the critical things we need. Why are they afraid to pick diesel jet A1 from Dangote refinery? Those are the issues that make them Dangote to come out and say, okay, Ahmed Farouk, the man in charge of NMPDR, is because he's a friend to the Ipman people, so they can keep importing. Those are the things we need to unravel within the oil and gas. So that you can really know what is the landing cost about the taxes and tariffs that government collect from you when you're importing PMS. And it doesn't have a relationship with naira devaluation because the naira devaluation issue is as a result of the marginal profit that CBN is looking for to pay for all the percentage they're going to pay on treasury bill and bonds paper. Bonds paper is coming up before the end of this month now. They just sold one in February. Another one is coming up to sell. So you ask yourself, where did the government get money to pay for all the percentage they are buying for those people buying bonds paper from them? Those are the aspects we need to. It's just like these are part of the analysis that normal economists will not come and open and say. We critical economists will have to say it as it is.
All right. Now, still on the economic situation, we are in the economic reality. last week Thursday, federal government and Labour finally agreed on 70,000 naira minimum wage, and the governors also are kicking, although they are said to be meeting to deliberate on that. So what are we going to be having? Because even when the minimum wage was 30,000, most governors still could not pay.
Exactly.
So now that it's 70,000 naira, many governors were left with the opinion that 62 should remain at 62,000 naira. And yesterday again, and let's said, but how would you expect viable states like Lagos, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom, all those states to be paying the same 70,000 naira minimum wage as those of Zamfara, economically disadvantaged states? What are your views on that?
I think I would disagree with that expert. I would say they have to pay. They have civil service rules and regulations, and we have minimum wage act. Now, the 70,000 that we're even talking about, it's not the 70,000 that will pay any civil servant. They are paying more than that.
That's the balance.
The balance, that is the base.
The base,
Now,
sorry.
that 70,000.
But Lagos had already agreed on 70,000.
That means the minimum they can pay for is zero.
And those states.
A zero level step one person. But from that level 4 upwards, you start paying more. I think it's 135,000 and 240,000 and like that. The issue is this: there is no state that is not viable. It is the laziness on the part of the state government not to be viable. But as the outcome, the state government will appoint over 500 political appointees, and we're paying them 250,000 every month. The least you can pay a political appointee, either an SA or an SSA, is 250,000. But you appoint 100 of them. So that should point.
It's true. I saw one also an editor-in-chief of one online magazine about one online newspaper, how he recounted in his column how one of the state governors called him to assign roles
to him.
For he had 600 essays to help assign roles to those essays.
It's true. Even one in media.
I think it's Plateau State.
What about
600 essays?
What about what they call it, Taraba, who has over 50 media aids? Only media 650.
This one has how many in media?
So the thing is that they can pay. We should not follow them to begin to crucify why they cannot pay. They can pay. They can also make themselves viable. I was saying something one of the sister session I was analyzed. I said if government have been participating in food production, if government have been participating in businesses, they will have much more money to pay. But because they are lazy, they don't want to participate. That's why it is becoming a challenge to them. All the state governors can pay, and it's not a law. I think it has been signed to law.
Yes,
so they will pay. And NLCTs, any state that refuse to pay, they will lock down that state. They will make sure that even if possible, they will ensure that the state government is impeached. He is impeached. The thing is that the justification of they cannot pay or having a disparity, a decentralized payment cannot come in here, because it is majorly first and foremost tackles the civil service.
Yes, you just mentioned, governors have been pushing for a decentralized and labor.
They know, because they know what they will do. Now, what will happen is that in each of those states, political appointee will be anyone be getting fatter, where the civil servant that will end up spending 30 years or 35 years will be any less, and his pension will just be meagre by the time you're going to be leaving the service. So those are the issues. So they should encourage them to pay. And they can, for me, in my own opinion, they can pay. Just that if states are too lazy to engage in businesses, that's when they will say they don't have money to pay for workers or do anything. So they should learn from federal government. So where is the federal government getting all this money?
Also, our lawmakers this slash their basics salary of course 6 months for 6 months. However, critics said, why would they slash their basic? They're supposed to is the allowance that they ought to have done.
I think let's say they don't want,
because we know that basic salaries they are not really much. They are not to go by their
compared to
exactly for a month.
For a month.
Allowances is where the
newspaper, furniture, dress code, travel allowances. Those are the ones that earn into 30 million.
Those ones that are supposed to be slashed. And also, this 6.2 trillion naira additional supplementary budget that Tinubu wrote to Senate to add to the 2024 budget. Of course, it was alleged that most of the monies are also going for lawmakers.
I don't think so. Take a look at that particular document. 3.2 trillion is going for road infrastructure. The Lagos Coastal Road, the Sokoto, Badagry Coastal Road, and some internal roads. Majority of if you remember, there was a news that came out that the effect stepped down the memo on Minister of Works about 2 weeks ago, because there was violation of some project money that they said, no, go and rework some of these project money so that we can have a better funding for it. And that play a major role in this 6.2 trillion. Secondly, although some capital projects that have to do with some ministries and some agencies were there, but they were tied to constituency projects. So if it is tied to constituency projects, it is the ministry that will carry out those constituency projects. But because of the corruption within that constituency project issue, that's why many people will raise eyebrows that is going to the National Assembly, because the contracting, the procurement, the National Assembly members want to hijack it. That's why the challenge is. But we hope that things can be done in a better way. You get it? So the 6.2, and again, the other aspect of the 3 trillion is to cover up for this new minimum wage. So it's not entirely, although they can be correct that because of the procurement of the constituency project tied to each of the mandates of the ministry that will carry out those constituency projects, the National Assembly members could hijack those processes because they have been doing it before. When they know that a particular money has been put in the budget of the ministry for the constituency project, you can walk to the DG and say, no, let's do this by barter. So those are the fear.
Okay, now students are kicking over the federal government's decision to slash foreign scholars' allowances, and Punch says 56% allowance cut.
It is quite interesting now.
And why many are saying, why would the federal government go that route? Why not slash the lawmakers and even his cabinet allowances?
I think we need to understand some aspects of it. Now, the executive cannot go to what they call it, legislature, and slash their salary. They just increase the salaries of judges after all of us are making us that our judges are living penury. So the issue is that the foreign scholarship they were even sending out, what is the value for the money? All our foreign students that have gone abroad that come back, what innovative ideas have they added to the economy? That's the thing. Although government have a blame, when you send people to go and school abroad, when you come, bring them back, bring them and assess the value of their knowledge. Which one can contribute to the economy? So you just send people to go and study abroad. When they come back, they begin to walk up and down. Then the one private organization will just pick them and begin to use their knowledge, or they will even remain where they went to study. So we must be able to reevaluate this particular project. For me, it's not a bad idea to slash their salary, to slash their allowances, because we already have a local scholarship that want to fund student loan. So we need money to be able to cater for that. Although if you look at it critically, what value have we gotten from foreign scholarships? And majority of these guys, most of them are academicians, lecturers. You get it? Most of these foreign scholarship goes to academicians, people who graduate assistants. And most of them are studying science, technology-based education. So what knowledge have they brought back? So we need to ask ourselves the question. So that's why I say when they are studying this, I was like, it's good if I want to be critical, because I've not seen anybody that went abroad and come back and say, with the knowledge that I've gotten, with the sponsorship the government are giving to me, this is what I can do for the Nigerian economy. Although we can put the blame on the government because government is not investing that sector very well. If they are investing it, we have gotten someone that would have given the best of ideas to government on how to utilize all our mineral resources that have not been tapped.
It's true. And they just come back and
they just feed you into the society and they will call themselves unemployed individuals.
But why is, just like what you said, why is federal government actually harnessing these brains? They could fix them somewhere in the economy.
The elite are not ready for. They are not ready for all those things. They have the yearning is that let us have Nigerians students go abroad to go and study. Good, but the other aspect of it to not utilize them is not there. Just like we have people who are very knowledgeable, very scientifically driven, innovative, but government is not tapping from them. The same thing. It's just like a wasted effort. Look at all the Nigerian boys that have been sent abroad to go and study. How many of them are contributing 1/4 to the Nigerian oil and gas sector? Rather, we still rely on foreign skills, what they call the expatriate, come and managing our oil sector. Meanwhile, we have sent people to go and study oil and gas across the world.
Across the world.
So what are the values?
Playing dominant roles.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. We are gradually time is against us. Now, Daily Sun, federal government resumes mass trial of 300 terrorist suspects. It's also the same story in other papers as well today.
I think it's a good information. It's a good news for me because there was a battle. For those of us that, like my uncle said, that look at critical economy from them, looking at also the economic
mass
governance.
Trial of 300 suspects.
And you know, it's related to monetary policy of Nigeria, Nigerian foreign reserve, Nigerian naira exchange rate to dollar. That's what it's related to. This yes, because majority of them are people who facilitated money laundering, terrorism financing. There was a battle when former chief of army staff was appointed, Major General Yaya, when the other one died. There was a committee that was set up by Nigerian military intelligence that arrested some of these money launderer in the terrorism act area, and they arrested them. They were about to try them. But when this guy knew the chief of minister was appointed, that particular task force power was voted down. Then the man that was in charge, General Kefi from Nasarawa State, he was, untimely retired from the military. You must have heard about the story of a general that was retired from Nasarawa State that was in charge of this, that was in charge of this task force that arrested some of these guys. So they retired him. So when the new NSA came, he picked up the fight because there was petition, there was allegation, there was talk that they must bring back this issue, and that's what we are seeing right now. So if they resume the trial, and some of the families of these guys of these people have cried out that the government is not allowing them to see them that have been in incarceration for how many years now. So it's a good thing that the NSA is bringing them up. If they take this guy to court, we may get justice for some may be sent to prison, and more information will be gotten from them. It's a good one. So I really welcome the idea. And it's also a good one because that NSA office now have a different office that will be tackling specifically this particular
Yes,
issue.
it has an office, according to the story. It has an office that heads this kind of thing. Okay, just before we call it a day on today's Inside Nigeria, what have we heard? The federal government, headed by President Bola Tinubu, has been signing bills into law, talking about Northwest Bill and Southeast Bill. Of course, there was also clarion call for South Bill, which was thrown out by the lawmakers that, well, how dare you bring another bill when you have the NDDC already. But however,
that was the Oliver Twist.
The NDDC also caters for some states too, apart from Niger Delta State.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe
you have Imo in the bill, you have
exactly. Although we need to understand the mandate.
But is this not a duplication of efforts? I can, we have so many commission bills up and down.
In our own case, in Nigerian state and Nigerian youth, they always have the opportunity they are gifted to know the problem, but they are not resolute to solve the problem. They're only looking for one long rope to kill a snake, and they will never kill a snake. Creating all these agencies is just to create opportunity for more seats, more opportunists in government.
Exactly. I was just waiting for you to land. That's what I said. That's another avenue to eat.
Definitely, it's not a
you begin to ask, NDDC has been there. What impact have they actually made in the Niger Delta?
It was very interesting that I was on a TV station some days back talking about regional integration, where we said even though this is a laudable effort, but when ethical governance and putting to move behind us corrupt activities and procurement system, this kind of commission will not work. Just like NDDC has shown us why it is not working. Northeast Development Commission is doing capacity training, is sharing mosquito nets, is doing all manner of things. But what are the value they are giving for the money? Although it's a political arrangement to solve some political issues. That's why the Northeast got their own. That's why now the Northwest have gotten their own. Now the Southeast have gotten their own.
And Southwest is also
they are coming. Their bill was, it was all of them were submitted in the 8th and 9th assembly. So, but they refused to sign the two.
Yes.
Now the four of them will come up. North Central will also come because North Central has already been passed to President Tinubu to sign. Maybe we'll now wait so that when the Southwest own fusion, we'll now sign the two of them. Just to settle some political issues and let the boys also have a way of eating from national.
Why are we not also playing supervisory role over these development commissions? Because we saw that was it during the 8th assembly, and that was when the statement of the mic came out, and nothing came out of the end of the day because of the sleaze that was exposed.
Exactly.
So how are we going to have transparency in all these things?
And for me, it's going to boil down to the people taking initiative, the people taking hold of some of these commissions. If the people are not carried along, there will not be transparency and accountability. Take for instance, I said Northeast Development Commission sharing mosquito net. Is that what the people need? Now, Southeast Commission is coming, and one of the things they say is going to do reconciliation, redistribution, and rebuilding of the Southeast. Good. Which reconciliation will they be doing? So are they going to be holding talk? Because at the end of the day, they'll be holding town hall meeting here and there.
But to reconcile
people, then at the reconciling meeting, they will not say, okay, give them 200,000 naira. That's what will be eating up the budget. Then before you know, they will say, okay, somebody will begin to, and it will be proposal-driven commission because everybody will bring a proposal here and there.
And we are seeing what some governors in the dance zone they are already doing.
They are already doing. But the only thing is that And let's leave that one for now because there is also agitation by the workers in that state that they have not been paid for how many months for salaries, pensioners are not being paid. So I don't want to be diving into their beer issue. Whether they are telling us the truth about or they are just using propaganda. Because if the worker NLC is going there next week, there will be a massive protest over non-payment of pensions and non-payment of salary to workers. The medical association in Anambra State are already down their tools. They say they're not working, nurses. So we must be able to internalize some of these issues and interrogate some of them when we are seeing some things on whether on social media that social governor is doing well and we just need to interview. That's how I see some of these reports.
Yes.
But we just also need to call them to do the needful. If they are not doing the things right, let us encourage them, please do it right. Because you only have maximum 8 years to do things for your
Right. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on our program. But just before we go, one of the points said, main headline story, mayhem as Kubara Wike supporters clash in Rivers. Is there never going to be an end to that impasse between the former governor and the present governor of the state?
There will be an end, and I'm seeing that end coming maybe by the time 2027 election is coming. When Kubara would like to
what happens? They're already clashing. Will they leave? Will that Rivers State become enough for that 2027 election to be contested?
They will control it. They will, after all, it's not every day they clash. It is the day they know that something like court judgment is coming or the local government function is about to clash. But for me, by the time Kubara want to pick PDP ticket once again, that's when I know that the end everything will end. But I just pray that it will also end before that time. Because Wike is here in Abuja, he's also having his own issues to ensure that Abuja is peaceful from August 28th.
Right. Thank you so much. It's on that note we end today's Inside Nigeria featuring on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Weber and I've had the pleasure of having company today. My Thursday guest, he's a political economist, he's also a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you same time next week on the program. So viewers, this is where we draw the curtain, but don't forget to join us on the hour for news on Leadership Television. See you then. Thanks.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.